Okay, new chapter. This is chapter 29. Author's note. After a long wait, the next world is Pikmin. Thanks everyone for submitting the worlds. I also want to thank Nintendo Geek 01 for being the helper of this story. Oh yeah, because the guy basically wrote the fucking story for him, didn't he? Or Chandler Chris mentioned in a previous author's note. I can't remember if it was at the start or end of a chapter, but he basically said someone had, the person who suggested Pikmin had sort of outlined what could happen to them in the world. So yeah, but I guess he went with it. He was fucking lazy. Don't worry, I'm going to add more action in later chapters. Shout out Nintendo Geek 01. You got a shit username, but apparently you created a fucking solid chapter. So congratulations. Thanks to everyone for submitting the worlds. I also want to thank Nintendo Geek 01. I'm going to add more action in later chapters. For now, read, enjoy, and review, please. And thanks to the last reviewer, I know what world is going to be saved. The hint is in his author's name. Okay. One last thing. I've added also a special section in my profile with SSBB music in it. Fuck you. It's still in progress, but check every day for new songs. Good for you. Chapter 29, Flowers and Pellets, known in the drop-down box as Journal, what should I do? Pikmin. He pointed to the box of Pikmin. On the screen, Olimar's icon was getting darker. Now, choose who is going to go with you, Master Hand said, looking at the Smashers. Chris turned his back to see them. If anyone wants to go with me to this world, please raise your hand, Chris said, smiling. For his surprise, everyone raised their hands, even Crazy Hand, but his brother slapped him. If anyone wants to stay in the mansion, please raise your hand. Nobody raised their hands. Master Hand slapped his brother, and he and Crazy raised their hands. Okay, does that mean they just sort of jumped, or what? Fine, you can go with me, Chris frowned to himself as he summoned the portal. Chris, Lucario, Mewtwo, Roy, Pichu, Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Pit, Popo, and Nana stepped inside and the portal vanished. Oh, this is going to be fun. Brother, do you think they will be alright? Sending 10 persons to a single world can be disastrous, Master Hand asked. Ah! I hate to think! Crazy Hand floated like crazy and he fell fainting. I just wonder, why are you so crazy anyway? Wait, I don't wonder it just this time. I always wonder it every day of my life. Why are you so crazy? Master Hand's voice echoed through all the empty halls of the mansion. Pikmin, the distant spring, landing site. Plucked from the ground, gathered together and ignored. Yet we don't ask that you love us. Part of the translated lyric of I Know Uta. Oh, it's a song. Fuck you. Beep beep. A sound. Oh, that's my whistle impression. A sound coming. There you go. A sound coming from a whistle echoed through the area. A little person with a little person. That's very condescending. With a helmet, a spacesuit, closed eyes, a big pink nose, and a little red light attached to the helmet was commanding a large group of plants. The plants were actually living. They were oddly curious. Red, yellow, and blue were the colors of their bodies. Some of them had flowers, buds, or leaves over their heads, which the first one would increase their speed. The little man saw a group of red plants coming to an onion. 20 of them were carrying a big red pellet with the number 10 on it, probably because they were listening to the little man's order. It's my favorite Pearl Jam album. I really need to stop with the shitty references. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. I don't know if anyone would find that even remotely funny. It is my favorite Pearl Jam album, though. It's really fucking good. Little man's order. Look at me, I'm so cool. I listen to Pearl Jam. Music from this generation sucks. I was born in the distant spring. Sky. A portal appeared in the sky of the distant spring. Our 10 heroes stepped out. At least he learned that the number 10. Oh no, he did that anyway. Whatever. Our 10 hero. A portal appeared in the sky of the distant spring. Our 10 heroes stepped outside of it, and the portal disappeared. What a pretty view from midair, Nana said, looking at a distant valley. Well, I feel like I have become smaller, Chris said. "Ah, the air! My favorite place in the world!" Pit said.
"Wait, what did Nana said just a moment ago?"
Pikachu asked.
"I don't know. Something about mid-air,"
Jigglypuff responded. Mewtwo looked below him, and there was the ground, far away from his feet. "We're standing in the air without a platform to stand up," Mewtwo said.
"Oh, great,"
Pichu said. After some seconds of blinking, everyone realized their current status. "Mid-air!" everyone shouted in unison, and then they started to fall to ground, except for Pit, Jigglypuff, and Mewtwo, who just descended slowly. Chris yelled in terror, but Lucario grabbed him. Popo and Nana were falling while they were spinning. Pichu and Pikachu were also falling while spinning. Roy, meanwhile, was in a praying position, saying something in Japanese. The distant spring, fucking weeaboo, distant spring landing site. The red plants were close to reach the red onion with the big pellet above their little hands. The little man was waiting. He knew with 10 more plants, his work on recovering the missing parts of his ship would be faster and easier. Just as the red plants were going to reach the red onion, he saw 7 shadows above the big red pellet. They were increasing in size every second. He looked up and he saw the 7 figures falling at great speed over the pellet. Bump! They jumped. The pellet saved their lives, but unfortunately, the red plants below the pellet were crushed by the pellet itself. One red plant escaped from his death and sighed in relief, but Popo fell above him, killing the red plant in the process. Then Pit, Jigglypuff, and Mewtwo came floating to the ground.
"Good news! The number 10 is our lucky number,"
Pichu said, jumping happily over the pellet. Chris looked around and he saw 3 onions, a ship, 80 plants of different colours, and the little man staring at them with his arms pointing at the floor in disappointment after the death of his little group of red plants. "Hello?" he said, confused. The little man only stared at them. Then he turned his back and he took out a book, For Right. It was apparently a journal. And now, see, I figured out what Olimar's accent was going to be before I started this chapter, so that's something I should try in future. Day 24. The sky is my enemy. Today, 10 unknown persons from the sky came above the pellet that the red Pikmin were carrying at their onion. Unfortunately, my Pikmin were crushed by the pellet. Something tells me that the sky doesn't want me to return to my lovely home planet. Hokotate. Hokotate! Oh, how much I miss my wife and my daughter. My work, it's going to be harder than I imagined it would be. He kept his journal in some place of his suit, and he walked to the group. "Hi, are you Olimar?" Chris asked. The little man gasped after he heard his name coming from an unknown person. How did you know my name? How did you know my name? It's just a question. Oh, I see. Yes, my name is indeed Olimar. Everybody introduced themselves to Olimar. So, it's the sky mad at me because I want to leave this planet? Olimar asked. The sky is mad at you? Why? Popo asked. Because you 7 came falling above my red Pikmin who were carrying that big pellet you're standing on, and they died afterwards. Olimar pointed to 19 red ghosts resembling Pikmins from below the pellet. One came below Popo's butt. Pichu gasped when he saw a red ghost in front of him, and he hid behind Pikachu.
No, we just came here to help you, Pikachu said.
By killing my red Pikmin? Olimar asked with cross arms. No! Nana shouted. Then I'd appreciate your help very much. I need to return to my planet in 6 days. You see, my ship, the SS Dolphin, needs his parts to fly to the space. And with the help of the Pikmin, it's easy to recollect them. He turned his back. To recollect them, he turned his back. But there are animals and beasts roaming all over the planet to stop my progress. And this place, it's new for me. There are 10 parts of my ship scattered around. Then we would be glad to help you, Chris said, smiling. You can? Oh, thank you so much. It's really a miracle to meet all of you, Olimar said. His Pikmin were jumping, although they weren't smiling over the fact they didn't have mouths. They were shouting in happiness. Day 24. The sky is my friend. It turns out that they are willing to help me in returning to my planet. I couldn't believe it. Is a step closer to escape from this planet, or 10 more steps closer since they are 10. But I wonder, can they be of help to me? I still have in mind the dead of my 20 red Pikmins, though. The dead of my 20 red Pikmins. I feel for you, man. That really sucks, dude. Dude.